Time now for Media Watch here on France 24, and I'm joined by Diptyka Laurent. Hi there, Diptyka.
Hi, Tom.
Now, Marine Le Pen, of course, the one of two candidates going through to the second round on Sunday. She's found herself in hot water because she's given this interview with an Italian newspaper, and it's rather, let's say, vulgar and makes rather pejorative comments about François Fillon. Tell us more.
That's what the Italian journalist is alleging in this article from Corriere della Sera, an Italian daily paper, Tom. In an interview they did with Marine Le Pen while she was on the campaign trail, they asked her to explain why she thinks François Fillon decided to back her rival Emmanuel Macron after he lost in the first round of voting here in France. And her response was essentially to use the French equivalent of the S word. But it's unclear how she used it, and well, her team at least alleged that it was mistranslated. It's unclear whether she calls François Fillon by this derogatory term or whether she says he voted for Macron because he was in trouble, because he was in using this term. So whatever the reason, Le Pen's team have denied that she used such language. It sort of created this controversy. The French websites have translated her comments. Her team says it was misinterpreted. Florian Philippot, the vice president of the National Front Party, said even the Italian journalist himself denied that she made these comments and asked people to stop spreading fake news. For their part, to put this affair to bed, Tom, Corriere della Sera have tweeted this earlier this Friday saying, "We stand by the interview and the comments that Marine Le Pen made to our journalist." But it really does cap off what's been a very difficult week for Marine Le Pen, of course, beginning with a scandal, her debate, and now these alleged comments.
Yeah, indeed. And that would have been all the more shocking in Italy, where, of course, using that kind of language is really not tolerated in the public sphere at all. Let's move on now, because another story you've picked out for us relates to the repeal of Obamacare in the United States. What have you got for us?
Well, we've seen protests taking place all across the country after they decided to vote to essentially repeal Obamacare in the House of Representatives. People have actually been using the hashtag #IamAPreexistingCondition to explain how repealing Obamacare will affect them. You have this picture, people tweeting pictures of people in the hospital. This little girl says she's 7 years old, she's got diabetes, and essentially relies for her life on insulin, which will obviously is one of the many medications that will become a lot more expensive if Trump's healthcare reform is voted by the Senate. You also have a rather sad story here from a woman, a mother, a nurse, and a stage 4 cancer patient who says that she's dying, essentially, and $142,000 insurance premiums. Now, there's also a House Republican who's become a meme of sorts because he was actually photographed going to vote on you can't see there, going to vote after an operation. So obviously the irony has not been lost on a lot of people on Twitter, Tom.
Okay. And finally, it's, really a case of another day, another airline, isn't it? This time, however, it's not United that's in the spotlight for, let's say, mistreating passengers. It's Delta. What's happened?
Well, this video has been viewed 3 million times, Tom. And just to give a little background, this family had purchased 4 seats, including for 2 of their kids, one of them who didn't fly, so they used it for their toddler. The company says the toddler should have flown on their lap, and they essentially wanted the family to give the seat up so they could give it to another passenger. The family refused, and they were kicked off the flight. Let's take a look at just a little bit of that video.
Then they can remove me off the plane. You and your whole family?
So then it's going to be a federal offense, and then you and your wife will be in jail, and your kids will be
okay. So my kid, so my wife's, we're going to be in jail, and my kids are going to be what?
It's a federal offense if you don't abide by it.
I bought that seat. So wait, what are we supposed to do once we're off this plane?
That is not up to me, and the rest is, everybody wants
Well, it
to
should
go
be.
home. It's not. At this point, you guys are on your own.
So Tom threatened with jail, foster care. Delta has since apologized for the incident, but the family had to fork out hotel fees, transportation fees, and an extra $2,000 to get a flight the next day. And it's provoked a lot of reactions on Twitter. This user says, "Never flying United, never flying Delta. The U.S. are running low in companies that are flyable right now."
Yeah, well, remind me perhaps not to head in that direction on one of those airlines anytime soon. Thank you so much, Diptyka Laurent, for that edition of Media Watch.